Hello YouTube, this is News of the Week for the week of January 11th, 2011. My name is Ryan and let's begin with the news. First in the news for Monday, July 11th, 2011, the ATF now requires gun buyer information on the border. Under the new policy, federal firearms licensees in Texas, California, Arizona, and New Mexico must report the purchases of 2 or more of the same types of rifles by the same person in a 5-day span. The requirement applies to the purchases of semi-automatic rifles that have detachable magazines and a caliber of greater than .22. Anyone who is over the age of 21 and has not been convicted of a felony can own a semi-automatic weapon. And as a cadet for the Los Angeles Police Department, I do believe that those rights should be upheld, and that if you are not a criminal, you do have the right to own a gun and protect your family, protect yourself. But that's all for Monday, July 11th. For Tuesday, July 12th, 2011, a GOP lawmaker wants South California to be the nation's 51st state. In California, he says he has a solution to the massive budget woes. He wants 13 conservative-leaning counties to form a new state called South California. Those 13 counties would include Riverside, San Bernardino, Imperial, San Diego, Orange Kings, Kern, Fresno, Delaware, Inyo, Madera, Maricopa, and Mono, and they would make up roughly 13 million people. Riverside County Supervisor Jeff Stone said Los Angeles was intentionally left off the list because it was simply too, quote-unquote, liberal. This might be a tad bit biased, but before I begin, I'm not a advisor on how to fix our budget, so this is just my opinion. The way to fix the budget woes are not to create a 51st state of South California. We need to just stop spending money on things that are not necessary. The only necessary things right now that we need to spend money on is our emergency personnel, police officers, firefighters, ambulance drivers, just to make sure that people are safe, to make sure, you know, if there are fires, we have enough personnel to put out the fire or rescue somebody, because the more we let go of firefighters, police officers, the more emergencies there are going to be that we can't respond to or that we don't respond in time. And another thing is, you know, maybe fixing a couple roads, because the roads here in Los Angeles are terrible. But aside from that, we just need to stop spending things on useless garbage that we are spending on, and that's just my 2 cents. Next in the news for Tuesday, a report says the U.S. ran a fake vaccine project in the hunt for bin Laden. U.S. intelligence launched a fake vaccine drive in the Pakistan town where believed Osama bin Laden was hiding in an effort to gather DNA from family members. I personally believe that whatever the U.S. used to find bin Laden was okay. The things that bin Laden has done to people in the United States, everybody, is not condemnable. There is no way that he should have been alive for as long as he was, or free for as long as he was. So I believe any methods used by the U.S., known or unknown to me, to you, to anybody, were just, and he should have been found even sooner. Next in the news for Wednesday, July 13th, 2011, David Morrow, a 28-year-old Adams County Sheriff deputy, has been charged with multiple felonies and a misdemeanor for allegedly punching a 15-year-old in the mouth and breaking his jaw while he was restrained. According to the arrest affidavit, Deputy Morrow, along with 5 other deputies, arrived at an Adams County, Colorado house party to break it up. The 15-year-old in question was described by officials to be highly intoxicated, uncooperative with deputies, and eventually became verbally abusive. According to the Denver Post, the teenager was restrained on an ambulance gurney and was being taken to a hospital because he would not provide information about his parents so they could be notified of his whereabouts. Witnesses allegedly report that Morrow entered the ambulance to retrieve his handcuffs. As he passed the juvenile restrained on the ambulance gurney, Morrow struck the juvenile on the face with a closed fist. Then allegedly said, "Nobody saw anything, right?" The suspect wasn't a threat to any of the officers or civilians around him. I personally believe the officer should be charged with battery and taken off the force immediately, and he should be sent to jail. There is no excuse, especially for a police officer, to hit a restrained person. In news for Thursday, July 14th, 2011, a Chicago man was arrested early Thursday after calling the police to report that 3 men had entered his apartment and stole 2 pounds worth of marijuana in addition to his laptop. When police arrived, they found narcotics in his apartment and arrested him for 4 separate charges: 2 felony counts of possession of a controlled substance and 2 counts of possession of cannabis. There's really no other way to describe this guy except for calling him an idiot. Yeah, that's about it. Let's move on to the next story for Thursday. Wilden Mark Gilbert, a Washington man who is on trial for raping young boys and producing child pornography, which is absolutely unacceptable, will be allowed in jail to watch as many of that child pornography as he'd like. What? Washington State Supreme Court has ruled that defense lawyers have the opportunity to review all evidence facing their client, and because the 50-year-old is acting as his own attorney, he'll be able to review all of that material. I personally won't deny there are some flaws in the United States justice system, and this is for sure one of them. This is absolutely sick, and there should be some sort of court case on its own just to not allow this, because it is absolutely sick. And finally, for Friday, July 15th and Saturday, July 16th, since there weren't too many news stories, we'll put the last 2 together. 5 North Koreans test positive for steroids at the Women's World Cup. Defenders Song Jung-sun and Jong Puk-sim tested positive for steroids after North Korea's first 2 group games and were suspended for the last match. The team was eliminated after the first round in the loss to the United States and Sweden and a draw to Colombia. And last but not least, if you live in Los Angeles, Carmageddon has begun. The 405 freeway has been shut down for repairs, and so far there aren't any big traffic incidents to report. Although some idiot on the freeway decided to try to ride his bike on the 405 and the CHP detained him for further questioning. But thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. If you already subscribed, thank you very, very much for subscribing. I really appreciate all my subscribers, and I try to answer to every one of the comments that I get. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Everyone counts, and I really appreciate those as well. And if you have any comments, please put them in the section below. But that's all for the news on the week of July 11th, 2011. My name is Ryan, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you again for watching.